And we are live. What is going on, everyone? It's Johnny Dunn, and we are back with another one today. Epic VeVe live stream. Today we just have one drop. Nothing too crazy today. I'm going to be going over the details, my predictions, kind of my thoughts on how this drop's going to go, my kind of game plan if I'm going for it, if I'm skipping this drop. But really, I came on the live stream today to talk to you guys about everything that's going on VeVe right now. Lots going down in the VeVe-verse. Big new announcements. Kind of want to come on here and talk to you guys about how I was able to grab my AF15 combination. I'm really excited about that still. And a couple amazing videos to go over today. So shout out to everyone tuning in today. Just give me a second while I share my screen in just a moment here. All right, so first things first, let's dive into the drop today. We got Marvel Digital Comics, Marvel Legacy #1. So my first thoughts on this one is, I don't think it's an absolute crazy comic, but I love the covers on these. So the artwork is on point. I really like the artwork on even the common. I think the uncommon looks great too because Captain America pops out. Love that. Got the rare. Interesting cover here. I do like the rare cover. All black and white sketch. Got the ultra rare. I think a lot of people love this ultra rare cover. I do like the ultra rare cover. It looks pretty sweet. Like the color combination too. Nice colorway there. Secret rare. Don't love the artwork on this one, but again, we know the secret rares may not be the most, popular artistic wise, but it doesn't really matter all the time because of the scarcity. It definitely plays a part. 500 editions for the secret rare today, 1,000 editions for the ultra rare, 2,000 for the rare, 4,500 for the uncommon, and 12,000 for the common. 20,000 total editions. So it's good to see it kind of go back to the standard there. I think 20,000 editions shows the importance of that AF15 comic drop with only 10,000 editions. One, scarcity, it's limited, and it's arguably the most popular comic in the world. As you guys can tell with the thumbnail, I was able to complete the ultra rare, the common 3-digit. I can't wait to talk about that, guys, because I feel like some of the moves I made were crucial. Great videos to go over today as well. We got one of ones coming to VeVe. Guys, this is historic. One of ones coming to VeVe. In the future, everyone will be famous forever. Introducing our first VeVe Artworks auction with utility. It's David Utility. They should have spelled it with the YU, utility. I'm actually going to comment something right now. Should probably tag Miss Rose because Miss Rose is the one that I think Miss Rose came up with it. I'm going to give some rockets here. I'm tagging Miss Rose because she came up with that. She was saying everything with utility. I'm going to put some quotes here. That's amazing. Winner can bring up to 3 friends to dinner with David Yu. That's huge. That's huge. And you don't know what other kind of surprises they're going to have in here. David did tweet out. Let's see if I can go into details here. I'm pretty sure David quote tweeted this. He said, going to be some surprises or something. He said something pretty interesting, I thought. He said, there could be surprises. And that's the thing, right? They could, what if the dinner came with Al Khan, right? Al Khan, you could ask Al Khan. I mean, this is a valuable proposition here, right? You will be in for a surprise. I think that's big. Shout out to Brock. Brock said, oh, snap. 1 of 1. Ron English and a date with David Yu. This got spicy. Absolutely. I mean, bringing 3 friends at dinner, that could be big, right? You don't know what kind of promo code cards, business cards he's going to be giving out that could have some kind of, 1 of 1, 1 of 3 promo NFT. I mean, huge stuff. So I think this is just the beginning too, guys. Some people were like, what is this for the first artwork? I think this is just a test. This is just the very, very beginning. Can you only imagine what kind of futuristic drops are going to have that are going to be limited to 1 of 5, 1 of 1s? Let's read what it says. The VeVe Artist Program has been a pillar of the VeVe digital collectibles experience. And now with the rollout of the VeVe web app, we are launching an entirely new vertical on the platform, artworks. Huge. We know art can sell for a lot of money too. One of one art from a big time artist. Maybe it's Stan Lee signed Spider-Man poster, comic book cover. There was a teaser that I want to get to where he does talk about that. So I'll bring that up after I get done reading this. This new program is bringing both established and up-and-coming artists and licensed collectible artworks to the VeVe collector community as extremely limited edition NFTs. Could we see Pineapple Gang on here? It's wonderful. Could we see his album drop on here? Wow, would that be incredible one day? Because it does say up-and-coming and licensed. So, Ron English, a little background story of Ron. I think Ron is maybe one of David's favorite artists. So I think that's awesome to see they use Ron's artwork there. Now, this is a silent auction. Silent auctions let you collect an entirely new and private way. In a silent auction, you will place a bid on your favorite digital collectible artwork in gems for now. They did say that it could be in crypto later, but for now, it's just gems. For whatever you are personally willing to spend on the piece. The value of your bid is hidden from other auction participants. Just as you will not be able to see what they have bid, and when the auction timer expires, the highest bidder wins. So you can find out more details there. But I think that's important too, because some people may want to have, I know I was talking to Sean, he wants like a watch party. I think that'd be amazing. It'd be a lot of fun to see all the bids go up. But again, I'm sure we'll have that eventually. But right now, this is a silent auction. So you could overbid. Maybe someone values this at $50,000, right? $100,000, who knows? Maybe second person only bid $5,000. Well, you won't really know that difference of how much you bid. So it's going to be an interesting twist here. We got the David Warhol. Let's go. This is a one-of-one. Crazy, right? First ever David Yu likeness, I guess you could say. The winner of this piece will have the opportunity to bring up to 3 friends to lunch or dinner with Mr. David Yu himself. Obviously, depending on where you live, travel's not included. This is your chance to have a collector level 9,000 chat. Ooh, with David during an up-and-coming con or a VeVe event, or New Zealand if you're local. If the event is in New York, Ron English will also join if available. I bet if it's in New York too, that's when Alfred Kahn may go. So I think this is just the beginning, guys. I think it's awesome that even with the first ones, they are offering some kind of, even if some people think it's small, some people think it's a big deal. Whether you think it's a small or big deal, I think it's amazing that the first one ever is coming with utility. I think it's a pretty bullish sign. It's kind of like the Disney first ever NFTs. That came with a Disney Plus subscription. That's giant. That's huge because that shows you that they were already thinking of utility for their first ever NFT. So that's going to be huge, I think, in the future. Can you only imagine when some of these big time artists come? I'm going to pass on this one. Jabe, how we doing? How we doing, fam? What up, Dr. Strange? How much you think that one-of-one auction is going for? I could say going over $10,000, dude. I think someone will bid maybe 10, 15 grand because to a lot of people, that's nothing, right? I mean, to you or me, that may be a big deal, but for a lot of people, that's not that much. So shout out to Kobe Collects. I kind of want to go over his video before we hit the hodl or sell video from today. Let's see, where is it? Actually, no. Before we get to the Kobe Collects video, this is Kobe Collects. Make sure you guys go follow him on YouTube. Kobe Collects. Always doing giveaways and fun stuff with the VeVe community. Definitely going to watch this video. He talks about the Master Collector program and kind of his future predictions, which I left a comment saying he absolutely crushed it because a lot of what he said has already been confirmed from old interviews. So I thought it was just exciting to see where his head was at. I think he was absolutely spot on. This one's a little bit shorter. This is a physical comic collector. Giant size comics. Now, Dan Schawbel actually showed me his videos, and I think they're good friends. So it's awesome to see another physical comic collector get into the space. I think Dan might have showed him some stuff on VeVe, and he got into it. So just awesome to see physical comic collectors get into VeVe. I think Cavell just covered this video as well, too. Either yesterday or this morning. I'm not sure. I just saw him cover it. He's always on the ball. He's going to cover it this morning. So even though he covered it, you guys might have seen it already, but 6-minute long, video, not too long. Maybe you might pick up an extra gem or nugget here. Let's dive into what physical collectors have to say about VeVe, because we all know that there's been a lot of, negativity around NFTs. It's a digital reprint, which in reality, it's not a digital reprint. This is it's a whole new vertical that's happening. This is the first time ever that Marvel's releasing these licensed comic books just in digital format. They have said in the very long-term future that they could maybe release reprints of like a Ta 2.0. I'm assuming same with comic books, but that's, in my opinion, a very long-term, long outlook. I don't think they would do a reprint in the next couple of years. This is like, years and years down the road. Because I think these physical or these digital comics are the first ones. The big time comics are going to get so expensive. People can't afford them. It's going to be similar to how it is in the physical world. Because when you think about it, how many collectors are there in the physical world, right? It's its own little niche. But now, because of technology, when you have everyone who has an iPhone, a potential collector, that broadens the demographic, the audience of who is a collector now. People like me became collectors. I would have never bought comic books if it wasn't for VeVe. So I think that people who become comic book collectors and just collectors as a whole will continue to expand exponentially. Right now, like I've said in plenty of videos before, we're living through that time period where people are still questioning if it's legit. Are digital collectibles going to be a fad? Think back when, I always say this, but it's the truth. And it's what I think of every time. Digital music streaming. Back when people were listening to CDs, before iPhones, iPods came out, people were thinking digital music streaming was a fad because people wanted to physically touch that tangible item, right? Well, once we had the Wild Wild West, the Napster, the LimeWire kind of get regulated and turned into premium licensed digital music, Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes. Now it becomes the norm. It's the standard. When you think of music, you think of, just buying it, download it on Apple Music or Spotify, streaming it, or whatever the case is, iTunes. I think the same, that's VeVe. That's how I see it in the future. And we're going to dive into his thoughts on why he sees digital comics being the future as well, too.
Hey guys, I recently bought around $4,000 worth of secret rare VeVe comics. Now what did I get? I got Daredevil 1, Marvel Spotlight number 5, Tales to Astonish 13, secret rare, and some other stuff. So that all went together because I actually sold this physical comic, Showcase number 4, 1.0 CGC. I sold that for around $8,000, so that justified my purchase to get those comics, and I will be doing that way more often. I have a lot of physical comic slabs that I want to sell, and I really want to dump that money into VeVe because I want to get more secret rares. I want to get Fantastic Four number 1 secret rare and FF5. The goal would be to get AF15, but at 20,000 gems, I'm not really going to dive into that right now. But those 2 books I really want to get. And right now I think Fantastic Four number 1 is 4,300 gems, and Fantastic Four number 5 is 1,600. So right now it's relatively affordable. I mean, FF1 is a little bit high, but it's still affordable. It's not crazy like AF15 at 20,000. So guys, why am I doing this? Why am I spending $4,000 on digital comic books and not physical ones? I would say number 1, I don't like how CGC books are subjective to opinion. So essentially, the grader is saying it's a 1.0, but you may say it's a 2.0 or a 0.5. That's one thing I don't like about physical comics. It's that it's all up to a person. It's all opinion-based, essentially. I don't like that. There's no definitive answer. At least with VeVe, you know it's a secret rare for a fact. It's because it's that. You know it's a low mint number or it's a common. That you can't get your opinions wrapped into it like a physical comic that's graded.
That's exactly why I loved VeVe as soon as I found it. Like you guys, some of you guys know, I found my Pokemon cards. I finally realized once I found my Pokemon cards, they were worth maybe a couple thousand. I wanted to sell them. That's when I found out about, PSA, which grades cards and everything like that. CGC does the comics, but that's when I realized you have to send these collectibles, physical collectibles, in my case, Pokemon cards, out to a company, a third-party company, ship them out, trust them, and then you have to wait 6 to 12 months to get them back. And at the end of the day, it's just their opinions of what it's graded at. And then you have to wait all that time. I felt stuck. And so once I found VeVe, it was like a couple of days after that, I was like, whoa, you can just buy it and sell it instantly. And I learned the blockchain is basically like a digital authentication that just verifies proof of ownership. So it's just instant. And shout out to Gary Vee, because Gary Vee is the one that installed this into my head right away from day one when he talked about his pass on Uber. He said he didn't realize what Uber was. Uber was saving people time. And he said it from this day, it's like years ago. He said, when you save people time in today's world, it's a gold mine. Time is the most valuable asset. So when you save people time, especially in the, how everyone's living fast-paced lives right now, when you save people time, it's gold. And so I just put the connection two together when I first found VeVe.
I don't like that. That's one thing I don't like about it. Number two is sales. Let's say I ship this comic out, the $8,000 comic, to the buyer, and he or she is a scammer. I have another issue.
Yep.
With VeVe, there's no issue. If you want to sell your digital comic, it's it. Done. It sells. There's nothing that happens. The money exchanges very quickly, and that's it. You cannot get scammed on VeVe. I really like that a lot.
And that's coming from someone who's found VeVe like recently. In the early days, you could have got scammed, right, by doing off-app trade and everything like that. And I think people that might have given up on VeVe back then are going to be surprised when they eventually come back to VeVe and see new people finding it, loving it, seeing that it's all kind of perfect. Still ways to go, but a lot more, I guess you could say polished than it was before. Just interesting dynamics, because people are probably huge comic collectors in the real world, found VeVe early, got upset, taking longer than they expected, gave up, and then new people find it, love it. Those older collectors are going to be like, pretty salty.
Not going to lie. Another reason why I'm going to do this and buy more VeVe comics is the MCP program, which is, I believe, the Master Collecting Program or Master Collector Program. And essentially, you're going to be ranked on how many collectibles you own on VeVe, and you will be essentially ranked. So let's say you buy a lot of comic books and you're ranked, top 10% in buying comic books. Then VeVe is going to reward you, essentially. And they're going to say, hey, listen, you're in this program, so you're in this rank as well. So we're going to give you access to this event, or we're going to do a drop that's going to be exclusive to certain people, and you're going to be invited to that. I love that. That is such a cool aspect of VeVe that physical comic books cannot do. I mean, if you go to a con, it's just not the same as being able to be actually ranked to other people, and then for a fact that you're in a certain group of people and that you will be invited to events or whatever that VeVe may do. Another reason why I don't want to have physical comic books anymore is because if I went to a Comic Con, let's say, and if I brought this or any other comic, let's say, and let's say I want to trade, which I do very often. I like to trade comics. I get bored very quickly.
He's going to love it when the VeVe web app has trading peer-to-peer enabled on the web app. That's something that we don't have yet. That's going to be another iteration to the web app, to where instead of, like we said before, getting scammed off app doing trades, we're going to be able to not only sell stuff on the web app like we can now, but trading, I think, is coming, and that's going to be huge. We can sell full sets on the web app eventually, and we're going to be able to trade peer-to-peer on the web app. Huge.
I know, I'm a very bad collector. I get very bored quickly, and I like to go to shows to trade. But every time I go to a show, the dealer wants, 20% less or 30% less or even 50% less of market value on a trade. So I'm going to lose money on a trade. That's one thing I really don't like about dealing with dealers at Comic Cons, is that they want to take a big, big discount on your collectible. However, if I had this comic book on VeVe and it was $8,000, I put up for sale, most likely it's going to sell, or even at $7,500. If it's $500 below market, it's going to sell instantly. So that's another thing I like about VeVe. It's like I don't have to worry about dealers taking advantage of my transaction with them. Which, listen, I get it. They have to make money. That's the whole point of being a dealer, is to make an income. I get that. But as a collector myself,
I just want to stop this real quick because I just saw his background. He's got the Fantastic Four #1 right there and a couple others. Now, I think this is the future of content creation. Once he does get that secret rare Fantastic Four #1, or maybe he gets the low mint, original cover, just like that cover. Maybe both, right? I have a feeling hardcore comic collectors will get every variant in the set, along with, a low mint original cover. That's just always been my kind of hypothesis, I guess you could say. Now, when he's doing future videos, he doesn't have to have the physical, poster of that comic. He can have the legit comic book that he bought on VeVe thrown up there in augmented reality behind him, screen record an entire video, just like he did here, and he's going to have the authentic, because these look like posters of the comics, it looks like, which is still awesome. But he's going to be able to have the legit Fantastic Four #1 comic in the background of his videos in augmented reality. And when he's doing a video like this and he posts it, you won't be able to tell if that's AR or real or whatever the case is, So that's why in a lot of my early videos, I was doing those videos with, a lot of these collectibles, because I just think that's going to be the future of content creation. It's just going to be the norm, the standard. So we're that early in this, guys.
I'd rather the fact that I can just sell my collectible on VeVe, get all the money that I need, and then go to the show the next day or the next week or whatever. You know what I mean? So This book will take me a while to sell. Well, it did take me a while to sell. I sold it already. But a lot of other physical books are, hard to sell. They take a while to sell. So that's mostly it, guys. I mean, I really like VeVe's new program that's going to come out soon. I think it's not out soon. By the way, I'm a new VeVe person, so I don't know everything that's going on right now. I just heard about it from Colby Collects. Guys, check out his YouTube channel if you can.
Shout out Colby.
Very great insight into the MCP program, essentially. So definitely check him out if you can.
That's the video we're diving into.
I like VeVe because I can liquidate my collectibles very quickly if I want to. I don't have to deal with buyers that may try to scam me. And if I go to a Comic-Con, I don't have to worry about losing money because I can easily just sell it quickly or, just sell it quickly and that's it. But also, the most important fact is I will be ranked against other people, and I like that. It's kind of like a social status thing on VeVe. It's very interesting that if you have the top...
And I think that's going to be huge as VeVe becomes a household name. Kobe touches this as like speculation, his thoughts in the next video about how maybe if you become, the top collector of Coca-Cola, maybe Coca-Cola reaches out to you and says, since you're a top collector, let's work out a sponsorship deal. That's stuff that Alfred Kahn has talked about. After this video, I'll play a little clip of stuff like that happening. I think these big brands, as these, content creators, influencers get more and more recognition, whatever the case is, following, as they build their platforms, Coca-Cola could even, start promoting you as a master collector of their collectibles. I think a combination of VeVe, Comey, Coca-Cola, eventually start making t-shirts of you as an influencer. That's going to sound moonboyish, but until I back it up with actual video proof, it's going to be pretty interesting.
10% collection, or if you have, the 1%, whatever, there is rewards based off of that. When I have this comic in my hand, I get no reward from this. I get nothing from it. I get to look at it, great, but I get no reward for it. For being a part of VeVe, at least, I'm getting rewarded.
Right.
And that gives me incentive. It actually incentivizes me to buy more and to buy more secret rares and to put more money into the program and into the system. So, yeah, that's my rant for today, guys. I'm going to liquidate my physical comics and buy VeVe comics instead. And I really recommend you doing so as well because VeVe is doing a lot of great things for the future. This ranking system, I think, is really great, this loyalty program. And just in general, I think CGC is messing up a lot with turnaround times. I have comics with them for about a year and a half already.
Insane.
Imagine that. Crazy. VeVe, I buy it instantly in my wallet and it's done. I don't have to worry about anything.
Yep.
With CGC, I have to worry about, I have to pay for the grading, number one. I got to worry about shipping. I have to worry about any damage whatsoever. It's just, and plus I have to worry about the time. It may take a year, 2 years just to get it back.
Yep.
It's not worth it to me. So that's it. I'm going to be selling my physical comics to get, digital comics.
Amazing video, man. And it was just awesome to see your insight because a lot of us weren't comic collectors before VeVe. A lot of us were, shout out to the people that were, there's definitely a bunch of them. I would say for the majority of the users though, we're not comic collectors. I could be wrong. That's just not my opinion of the overall landscape. There's definitely, tons of physical collectors out there that were, but I would say for the most part, VeVe got most people into collecting collectibles and comics. So I think it's just awesome to hear insight from a real physical collector. And like I said, a lot of you guys may have known physical comic collectors that sold their collection for VeVe NFTs early on. And, they got frustrated with the things getting delayed and stuff that they couldn't control. And so a lot of them sold off. And I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic when new comic collectors find VeVe, get into it, see and find the value in it, see the potential. I think timing is everything. So interesting to see. I love the fact that we get more. I hope, he's sharing this with his friends. And that's the thing too. His friends that are physical comic collectors may not be into it right away. They may not see what he sees because everybody has that aha moment at their own time. You can't control that, right? Some people it's going to take years. Some people get it right away. So awesome video, man. I thought it was just amazing to see because we want more and more physical comic collectors just to get their insights. And Cavell covered that video as well yesterday. It was yesterday or today. So, go check out Cavell's video on that. I'm sure he has great, analysis and reaction to it as well. I'm going to get to some more comments, and I'm going to be going over Kobe Collect's video today. Kobe had amazing insight in that Master Collector program. Like I said, a lot of it was confirmed already. I just want to bring up one old interview. Shout out to my guy, Dan Shawbell. He's in the chat right now. Let's go. I know Dan doesn't like this video. Dan has a lot of funny memes about this video saying it came out before it was born, etc. Dan said that's my friend who recently got into VeVe. I've been helping him behind the scenes and sharing his content. Yeah, amazing, Dan. Shout out to you, brother. I love seeing real physical comic collectors get into this space. Shout out to Brendan Z. Talking about comics, my guy Brendan has like thousands of comics now. I think I'm going to be passed on this drop December. I don't think I'm going to be going for this drop today. I still haven't talked to you guys about how I was able to land the AF15 common, 3-digit, and the ultra rare. Can't wait to go over that. Vivian3 said David Yu is ever on the front of Time or Forbes magazine, assuming VeVe leads the way, then the utility that was available for this one-of-one will have some unique provenance. I 100% agree. And I do think David Yu will be on, the front of Time magazine, him, Dan, and Al Khan, the trio. When that happens, it's going to be unbelievable. Because, guys, we were here from the start. We were here from the foundation, building all this up, building kind of just the whole culture of digital collecting, spreading the word. Aloha from Hawaii. Shout out to Nick. I wish I was in Hawaii right now. Yeah, it definitely could, Sergio. NFT, me, and news. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Dan. I mean, for me, not being an expert, in grading, PSA, cards, and everything like that, that was why I love VeVe so much. I found my Pokemon cards. My friends who knew Pokemon said, you got like $1,000, $2,000 here worth of cards. I was like, sweet. All right, let me sell them. And that's when I was like, wow. I learned about PSA, realized it's going to take a minimum of 6 to 12 months just to get these cards back before I can even sell them. I was thinking that's not right. We're in 2021. That didn't seem right to me. And like I said, I always thought it was a combination of, Pokemon research on the computer, Google, mixed in with trying to find what NFTs were. Led me down a suggested video on YouTube I clicked on was a 2008 Alfred Kahn, or 2018, not 2008, I'm sorry, 2018 Alfred Kahn Akomi video talking about how digital collectibles are on the blockchain and you can just sell them instantly. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I need right now. How long has this been out? And once I saw that it came out in January, just 2 months ago, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. And I thought, it was going to blow up the next couple months, but you can never tell the exact time. Let me just go over this video mentioning how maybe these brands could be partners and sponsors of some of these master collectors and really promote some of their, not only, their likeness, but maybe t-shirts and stuff like that. Let's see what he has to say.
We're going to develop our own character groups. I believe we're going to develop influencers. You know how big influencers are? I've been developing influencers now for the BOD system that we're on. We're going to have our own influencers. We're going to be supporting on Collide. We're going to be talking to our collectors. And if those influencers get powerful enough, we're going to market them and use them as a licensing program. I expect to license some of the content that Collide has, another revenue stream. Besides making it digital collectibles, we'll make real collectibles. We'll make the t-shirts. We'll make publishing. We'll do all kinds of things. We're going to develop things that are owned by Coma as well. So
huge. So I do think that, if you're a master collector, say of Coca-Cola, like I'm trying to be, Coca-Cola reaches out, we get a sponsorship deal. I think sky's the limit for this stuff. Maybe the Disney, the Star Wars, the DC, Marvel stuff, huge. So I'm going to get to some more comments, and then I'm going to go check out Kobe Collect's video. I think he nailed it. He's spitting facts. I love to hear and see the realization in his voice. Absolutely. BZ, it's incredible, right? I love seeing this because every time I see someone new find VeVe and really start to see the value and the potential in it, it just brings me back to when I first found it. And I spent 3 weeks nonstop. I was inside my house, couldn't leave my house back in March 2021, pacing up and down the house like, oh my gosh, I got to find out more information on this. I got to go hard on this right now. So like, it just is amazing to see new people find it, especially people who have experience, people who have a lot of knowledge in the physical world of collecting these comic books, collectibles. For the new guys, how fresh off the boat was VeVe? What do you mean by this, Dark Zero? Well, they wouldn't really lose market fees with peer-to-peer trades just because there will be some kind of small fee that'll burn Omi, I think they said. So I don't think it's going to be like 10 gems or anything to do with trade, but I think it will be maybe a gem or two type thing, and I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. Trades are going to be crucial, especially when that MCP program comes out. If anyone was into the hero and everything like that, I think they saw a glimpse of the potential of how competitive it can be. I believe the VeVe leaderboard, status rank is going to mean a lot more because I think VeVe is just going to be a household name. So it is the collectors app, and I think they will reward those collectors. Yes, absolutely, Nick. And we all want that stuff to happen right now, the second, maybe even last couple months. But that's when patience really is going to come into play. They're building something so big, and we all see the potential of it. So we all want these things to happen right now, maybe even yesterday. But that's when I think having that faith is going to be rewarded in the end, because I look at it like, especially in the bear market, they don't want to hype things up and really get going for that momentum to die out and then try to get it back going. So they're just building right now. I see this as just a huge opportunity for the next months, maybe year, whatever the case is, because they're nonstop building. This is going to be here, whether, anyone gives up, whatever the case is, stops collecting, that's perfectly fine. Got to do what you got to do. But I think people who come back are going to be amazed what this is in the next year or so. Wow, let's go. See, I didn't know anything about that comic that guy had. In that video we just watched, showcase number 4. First appearance of Silver Age Flash, Grail comic, by the way. It's scarce and kicked off the Silver Age of comics. Wow. Okay, some knowledge dropping here. Appreciate that, Dan. For him to sell that comic for VeVe Comics is a really big deal. I agree. I saw a lot of physical comic collectors. I was blessed. I met a lot of hardcore collectors when I first found the app back in 2021, March 1st, 2nd. And so for me, like, because I was so into it right away, I wanted like a guidance, or I wanted another person who could almost like validate it for me. And so because I thought it was such a big deal, I was trying to pick the minds, find people who were hardcore collectors. I met Franelations. Franelations has been a hardcore shoe collector for like 20 plus years now. Collects everything, and he found it maybe a day before me, and I saw how excited he was about it. I found another hardcore Star Wars comic collector around the same time, maybe the same day, and he was selling his, physical Star Wars collection comics for these VeVe NFTs before they even dropped comics, before we even had comics on the app. So I was like, whoa. I was like, this is not just me thinking this. These are hardcore physical collectors who have been collecting physical collectibles and comics for 20 plus years, getting on board on VeVe early. So like I said, some people see the vision right away. Some people are going to have that aha moment months later, maybe years later. But I think everyone will have that aha moment and say, oh man, either I made the best decision of my life or I missed a huge opportunity. And it's just awesome to see more and more physical comic collectors come into the space and see the opportunity. Whoo, people work their whole lives up for showcase number 4. Gene Simmons of Kiss owns a show. Wow, that's huge. Yeah, that's a big comic right there. I hope he does land one of those FF1 secret rares in. I think it's big. And that's the thing that I thought of too. I think when people come to the app right away, they're going to want that most scarce item. FF1 secret rare is a huge comic. I think that'll always have a high floor because of the scarcity. I think it's one of those things that after people get those variants, they're going to start to grow. It's going to grow in a lot of people because it grew on me. And I'm just using my collector in me to think, if it grew on me, I think it's going to grow on everyone. And we started to see a shift in those original cover low mints, because a lot of times people think there's just 999 of them, but there's actually a far less amount than that. Because think about it, with the MC1 common, VeVe took the first 500 editions. So think of how many few editions are actually 3-digit original covers. Not that many, right? That's the mind twist that I think it's going to take people who dive into VeVe right away some time to really start to realize and think about. So again, I think all variants are going to do great. But for me, I want to have both. I want to have the top variant I can possibly get, but also I want the lowest mint possible of that original cover, because to me, that feels like a grade of that comic. So shout out to BZ. You don't think it's fun? No, not at all, Rich Buddy. And again, I'm sure he still loves physical comics, right? He's just talking about the pros and the cons of them. And I think he sees the upside more so in these digital comics. Think about it, right, Rich? If everybody in the world pretty much has an iPhone, that means everybody in the world is a potential collector on VeVe. I know it's not going to be everybody, but it's a lot more, and it's going to expand exponentially of people who collect, because that's all you need. The bar to entry, I would say, right? The ease of use, the access is there. As opposed to if you want to be a physical comic collector, there's a lot you have to do. So I think just the ease of access for these digital comics, it's the future. Let's go. Absolutely, Kobe. Yeah, this guy's definitely going to be a big part of the community. He's going to be huge. And Kobe, I'm going to tune into your video that you put in, that you put up the other day. Probably like a 15-minute long video. So I want to dive into a kind of quick, some hodl or sell video. Maybe we dive into the hodl or sell videos first, and then we get to your video. We're definitely going to cover it, though. I think you crushed it, brother. A lot of what you said has been what I've been thinking for a while now. So it's just amazing to see your insight on it, because I think you hit it spot on. Yes, VeVe Las Vegas. I 100% agree. The way I look at things, when VeVe first took off, it was like a rush. I knew for me, I thought things were going to explode right away. I thought I was even late. That's why, if looking at a hindsight, I wish I took my time a little bit more. But hindsight's always 20/20. So I think right now we've kind of hit that retracement point of the peak in January, February, right? The whole economy kind of crashed after that. So now we're just building organically. And I think that's what they want. None of the features are really here just yet, guys. Like, they're giving us these holy grail opportunities. Again, not everything dropping is a holy grail, but there's holy grail opportunities right now. And once we get more features finished, polished up on the VeVe web app, MCP, OUP, the utilities here, we can buy these NFTs with OMI. Like, so many things have to be put in place still, to where once all this stuff's in place, and then we see Marvel huge marketing push, Disney huge marketing push, influencers, Logan Paul, Gary Vee, big exchanges, like they've said they want to have like a perfect storm of momentum. Because imagine if we got listed on Coinbase today, right? Like, that's something that we all wanted months ago, but like, just think of the reality, right? If we got listed on Coinbase, be huge and pump, and then what? It would dump because there's no utility, there's nothing here. So I always say it's the same thing. If we did have a huge marketing push, great. Things would pump for a moment, kind of like when Disney tweeted us out one time and brought in 300,000 people, crashed the app for the whole week. A lot of those people were unhappy because they didn't have a great experience right away. So they probably said, you know what? We love that what you did, but let's just, finish the app essentially. Wait for things to be a little bit more polished. And that's when I expect a huge marketing push from DC, Warner Brothers, Disney, Marvel. And if you don't believe me,
Bill Gates. Remember Bill Gates? Whether it be, any, all over the place with this. And when your kids go and look at the Disney ad on Hallmark, you send them a free digital clip based on that movie, and you show them other things they can purchase along with that. Disney's going to promote us. So is Warner Brothers. Remember the presidents of all these companies. We're going to get so much interesting publicity and so much interesting, stall out of this. It's going to be amazing. I'm sorry to answer your question.
guys, Al Khan literally said Disney's going to promote us. Warner Brothers are going to promote us. So like, they've met with the presidents of all these companies. It's going to happen. But to me, it just feels like they're not ready just yet. They're close. They're a lot closer than they were before. So we'll see what they have to do in the future. I think it's going to be huge in the future. Energy, how we doing? How we doing? Hit that thumbs up button. Like the video. Get blessed from the VeVe gods on your next drop. How we doing? How we doing? Absolutely. Just want to get to some more comments, and then I'm going to start it up. Probably going to go over the hodl or sell videos because we only got 20 minutes left. And then after the drop, I'm not going for the drop today, guys. I'm going to be passing. After the drop, I'm going to tell you guys how yeah, I'll probably wait till after the drop. How I was able to get the AF15 3-digit common. I got a 656 mint, guys. I'm going to tell you guys how little I paid for it. And then how I was able to get the ultra rare 500 edition. For me, this is my holy grail comic book. Huge fan of Spider-Man. I locked in that secret rare Spider-Man on the drop. Crazy. Watch it go all the way up to 100K, back down to like 15K. I only have one, so I'm just holding on to that one forever. To me, that's one of the top collectibles ever on the app because that's Marvel's first ever digital collectible. That's Marvel's first NFT. So that's a hodl for me. Absolutely, absolutely. Let me dive into VeVe 3 and comics and cryptos, how or sell video. Which one's first? Let's do the shorter one first. Comics and crypto, 3-minute long video. Then we're going to VeVe 3. Then maybe I'll tell a story about AF15. Then after the drop, we got Kobe.
What is up, my comics and crypto critters? And welcome back to Hodl or Sell, where we'll be briefly mentioning Marvel Legacy number 1. This Tuesday, August 16th, we are getting the modern age comic Marvel Legacy number 1. First appearance of the 1 million BC Avengers. Thrilling. Story by Jason Aaron, art by Joe Quesada and Assad Ribic, and covered by Joe Quesada.
I love the art.
This comic introduces the first superhero team of Avengers from the year 1 million BC. Don't try to think about it too hard, just go with it. The comic itself spans the entire history of the Marvel Universe and explores the connection between the prehistoric Avengers and their present-day counterparts. Can't wait for the follow-up series, Marvel Heritage number 1, the first appearance of the Dino Avengers. Please tell me that's not already a comic. According to Go Collect, Marvel Legacy number 1 has a 9.8 grade, is currently valued at $46 with a 1-year average of $53. Before we give our final verdict, we want to remind
These
you
slabs
that
look amazing, by the way.
are now available at cherrycharts.com. This video is sponsored by Elite Comics 11, Instagram's #1 community-powered comic sales page. For our final verdict, we give it a sell, blah, 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 blah. As a comic fan, this has a pretty interesting concept, if not a little odd. However, as an investor, there just isn't much upside to this comic. It's difficult to see the value of this comic long-term, even if the prehistoric Avengers show up in the MCU. And considering the current price tag of $46 as a 9.8 grade, we don't see a solid level of entry in the digital format. So if we do go for this drop, we will sell our comic to reinvest in more significant keys or grails. Please make sure to reference the spreadsheet on our link tree for each comic definition and ranking.
Great video. Short, to the point. Is this the... Yeah, guys, if you guys want an awesome resource, shout out to Sleeping Comics. He has one too, VeVe Rank, I believe it's called. I believe that's what it's called, VeVe Rank. Let me just double check. I want to give him a shout out. I want to make sure I say the right name for his website. Yeah, VeVeRank.com. I would always love to pick the brains of comics and crypto and Sleeping Comics. So VeVeRank.com. And then also, if you go to Comics and Crypto's link tree in their Twitter, you can pull up their VeVe comic ranking. Again, this isn't like the end all be all. This is just their opinion. But I think, a valid, awesome resource to use. Pretty on point, if you ask me. I'm not the comic book expert, but I think they have amazing insights. So if you want to have a look at what they think are like the top 50 comics on the VeVe app, amazing insight, guys. I think it's important too, always, I would say try to always get a good insight of what everybody's kind of thinking, multiple resources, and then come up with your own kind of game plan or your own decision on it. So that way you're not just taking in one person's viewpoint, you're taking in what everybody has to say and then formulating your own opinion. Shout out to Non-Fungible. Wonderful. It's wonderful. Guys, if you haven't checked out this album, by the way, check out Non-Fungible by It's Wonderful. Your boy has a couple features on here. Gary V, VeVe Vault. I love the first 2 songs, VeVeverse, A Millionaire. Some absolute bangers, if you ask me. I think Randy got a little feature on here, too, for the intro. I don't want to play too much of it, but...
This is the quick story of how I became a millionaire.
Fire. I definitely suggest any new viewers tuning in, go check out this album, Non-Fungible. It's on all streaming platforms. And you can get the NFT on OpenSea as well, too. So pretty sweet. Check out VeVe 3's little knowledge here. A little drop of some background information on this comic, probably. Let's tune in and see what they have to say. Again, like their videos, subscribe to the channel. I hope they're at 4K really soon. They definitely deserve it.
Welcome back to VeVe N3 with me, Corey, aka Old Rhubarb on VeVe, and Me, Heather, from the VVT, and also Heroes and Heroines.
And we've had kind of a nice little mini drop vacation since the Groots sprouted up on the app. In that time, we got a new channel member, Mercury Road 55. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Rhubarb Patch. Let me know if you want a different shout-out video avatar. That paintbrush PFP that you had on your YouTube profile was wild, so I went with that for now.
As for today, the next comic on the platform is going to be Marvel Legacy number 1. It's coming in on Tuesday, August 16th at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the standard 20K edition run at 6.99 gems.
And Marvel Legacy number 1 released on September 27th of 2017. And this series sort of reminds me of the What If comics, and that is by design. When we look at the letter to readers from Axel Alonso, the editor-in-chief, we see that this series will be dusting off older characters and stories. The goal being to explore histories and solve issues with character arcs and histories. And ultimately, this series was designed for new and old readers alike. For those old readers, you're going to get some of those wrap-ups for character arcs and stories that didn't quite pan out or left you a little bit dissatisfied. But if you're a new reader, the way this story is designed and has been developed is you can pick it up for the first time, and you're getting a snapshot of each one of those characters. You're figuring out where they are in the timeline, and off you go to the races. And this is in tandem with the current Marvel comic push.
The day after this drop, look at what Marvel is publishing. The upcoming 2022 run of this series promises to reveal the true story of Thor's birth and many other secrets that are advertised to shake up our entire understanding of the Marvel Universe. Now, getting back to today's comic, we are seeing the Avengers from 1 million BC, and this story appears to hop between time, dimensions, and characters to give us a glimpse of what stories we'll get to follow. It's packed with fan favorites. Multiple characters are resurrected, like Steve Rogers and Wolverine, and many others are given a page or two of introductions to solidify the reader's expectations of character lineups.
When it comes to value, this comic doesn't really contain any major FAs outside of the first appearance of the 1 million BC Avengers, but it's a really interesting take on the characters. We're getting to see these characters in their original forms. All of the characters in this team, it's the first version of them that's ever existed. Cased at high grade, this comic will set you back less than $100 according to Go Collect. And either the comic was limited in its release or collector interest was very low because there are not many of these things cased according to the census. Perhaps if the storyline becomes immensely popular, it could generate interest, but as for now, the main catalyst of potential value would be the continuing use of the story concept we talked about earlier.
Our VeVe exclusive rare and ultra rare covers are coming to us from Sergio Davia, and he was cool enough to share his original print on Twitter. For us, this looks very similar to the physical Mike Deodato black and white wraparound variant that released with this book, and that's a good thing.
And before we check out the rest of these covers, a quick shout out to our channel sponsor. It's us. Our website is currently up and running.
Awesome.
Pardon our dust while the thing gets a graphic and design overhaul. Very much a function over form kind of guy. And now that the website is functioning as intended, we can start beefing it up with tons of extra info and cleaning up the designs. Ultimately, the website will have detailed listings of every artist, drop, and product on the platform to beef up your research game. There will also be forums, fandom groups to join, a wiki, and of course, merchandise. All right, let's dig into these covers.
First, the classic cover is minting 12,000 editions. As always, the common is the exact replica of the original book. The cover seems to have an odd black cut at the top and bottom, and that's because it's a small piece of a larger work. This wraparound cover, which looks like a killer poster, is where the sample's taken from. And I, for one, would have been absolutely over the moon with this wraparound cover, because it would have looked absolutely stellar once comics can be displayed in the vaults.
The uncommon vintage variant is minting 4,500 editions. Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, gets the color selection on this cover. My guess is that it's because he's the only one pictured on this cover that's featured in this particular comic. And even then, it's just for a handful of panels. I sort of feel like doing the color selection on just the Marvel Legacy placard at the bottom would have given this cover just a little more visual appeal.
The Rare Hero variant is minting 2,000 editions. Sergio Devia gave us an outstanding piece of art, and what you're seeing here are the Avengers team circa 1 million BC. Phoenix, Thor, and Black Panther will look familiar, but keep in mind Iron Fist, Ghost Rider, and Star Brand all pass their abilities to the generation after. And the Doctor Strange-looking dude, that's Agamotto himself, the very first Sorcerer Supreme. This group is the first to wield their powers, so it's kind of cool, if not a novel, first appearance team.
The ultra rare vibranium variant is minting 1,000
like this one.
editions. The color on this one really takes it to the next level. The minimal Marvel Legacy placard allows Devia to take advantage of his canvas, and he really delivered an awesome rendering of these characters. I'm partial to Thor, but I can't decide whether I like or dislike the artist signature being so prominent on his bracer. It's also sick that the very first Ghost Rider was mounted upon a flaming woolly mammoth. Super metal.
Last, the True Believer Secret Rare is minting 500 editions. This is an interior pull secret rare, and here's the panel it's being sourced from. Not a terrible selection, but not the best either. There are some really epic panels in this book with some visually impressive artwork, so we wish we would have gotten one of those panels that had the whole team in it.
And that's a wrap for this info dump. Best of luck if you do decide to go for it. I think we're going to be skipping this drop and shopping in the MP afterwards. There's just no real reason why this comic should overperform or even strongly perform given its real life value and sort of the usage of these characters. But I'll be keeping my eyes on those secret rares because I am always in the market for super cheap MCP points. Till the next video, this is Corey
And Heather,
signing off.
Great point right there about the MCP points. I think that leads us perfectly into the next video of Kobe talking about why he thinks, the Master Collector program could be so big in the future. I completely agree. I think that's going to have a boost for a lot of these cheap comics. A lot of us know by now the ultra rares give us 3 points, the rares give us 2 points, and you can stack the uncommons and the commons as many as you want without getting diminishing returns. So I'm not positive on the points the uncommons can give you, maybe half a point. So I think a lot of people are stacking uncommons for that reason. I think there's, I just let go of a lot of cheap rares, just that aren't that valuable of comics that I got for MCP points, held them for a while. So I feel like because I just made a huge purchase with this AF-15 ultra rare, woo! And I finally went back and I got the ASM1 ultra rare. I didn't have that one. Didn't have the Journey in the Mystery ultra rare. Wanted to complete that first full run of comics. I feel like I got my collection to where I really, really want it right now. So right now I'm just trying to stack some gems for the next big opportunity. Got to get the coffee gate going. I actually do have coffee for the first time today. I was drinking tea for the last 2 weeks. I haven't been sick in years, and I finally got sick. So I feel like it lingered too for a while. It might have been the C word. I don't know. But it lasted a little longer than 2 weeks. Like even right now, today is probably the first day where I don't have a throat issue at all. Even yesterday, my throat was still bothering me. I was kind of surprised. But yeah, for me, I felt like I had the MCP points for a while now. And since everything will be retroactive, that's huge. So if you had, 1,000 comics like BZ has, and he decides to, let him go for something else, he's going to be rewarded every day he had those once the MCP comes live. So I think that's huge. Instead of waiting until MCP is announced and then rushing in, trying to grab everything as it pumps, you won't even get that many points because it's about those daily recurring points, in my opinion. Now, you do get 100 bonus points just for completing a new set. So that's big too. But I think it's going to come, since this is a collector's app, I think the rewards are really going to be felt for the people who hold those collectibles, sets, and comics the longest. So for me, I've had a lot of those MCP points already, and I'm not getting rid of all of them, of course not. Like I've always said, I'm trying to stay in between that 50 set range. Right now, I've dropped down to about 53 sets, but I've also swapped some of those sets that I didn't absolutely love that I did get for those MCP points for the collection that I really, really want. So right now, I feel like there's maybe only like 2 things that I feel like I'm maybe missing, and they're not even must-haves for me. So, whoo, I got my collection to finally where I want it, guys. I feel so happy. I'll talk about, we had 7 minutes to the drop. So right after this drop, I'm going to tune into the Kobe Collects video. About 5 more minutes, I just want to talk about how I was able to pull my Holy Grail comic, guys. This is unbelievable. Amazing Fantasy 15. The ultra rare. Oh, I don't want to read it. Actually, I'm okay. I don't want to read my comment.
There it is. Not a crazy mint, 6,000 mint, but ultra rare, huge. Let's see what the floor price is right now.
I paid 2,800, 2,900 for it. Now, when I bought this ultra rare for 2,900 gems, I thought it could dip maybe down to 2.5, maybe 2K, right? There's only 500 editions. So the move that I made was crazy. So the day after the drop, I was trying to go through my entire collection, find things that I didn't absolutely love, to like nothing too big. Thought about getting rid of my walt. Didn't want to get rid of my duplicate walt. That's like my prized possession collectible that I can let go or rent or whatever, right? I had 3 Todds, and I was like, oh, I'm trying to make this happen without letting go of one, right? I was stuck at like 400 gems the entire day. I couldn't make it happen. So I was like, you know what? I have 3 Todds for a reason, right? Duplicates are incredibly crucial. I think NFT Flenny, I didn't watch the video, but I saw him just post this, why duplicates so important. I think you should definitely watch it. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but anytime somebody talks about why duplicates are important, give it a watch. I made a video months, probably a year ago now, about why duplicates are a must on VeVe. Just helps you build that collection. If you only have one collectible, you're kind of stuck. You know, if it goes up to 10, 20K, do you let it go and then never have that collectible again potentially? But if you have 2 of them, 3 of them, you can let one go, profit on it, buy OMI or buy the collectibles and comics you really, really want, and still hold on to those collectibles. So thank God I still had 3 Todds left. You know, 2 of the Todds I have left are I bought from the store. So I let go of a Todd. Now I think Todd's one of the top comic or collectibles on the app, if not the top. It's the first one ever, right? So if I only had 1 Todd left, I wouldn't have let it go. I would have held on to the Todd. Even if I had 2 Todds left, I might have just held on to the 2 Todds and just been okay with the rare and the common. But because I had those 3 Todds left, I said to myself, this is the Holy Grail comic. Even if, say, Captain America comes out with fewer editions, I'd rather have Amazing Fantasy 15. The only thing I see could maybe beat it is if Action Comics 1 comes out with 1,000 total editions, or maybe the Batman comics, right? Detective Comics, DC's. If one of those top, FA Batman comics come out with fewer editions, it could rival it. But I felt like this, but who knows, right? Maybe that's reserved for when we have a drop lottery type system and I can use my MCP points on it. Or maybe it comes out when there's millions of more people on the app and it's impossible to get anyway. So I said to myself, you know what? This is an opportunity. I'm not missing it. This felt like Walt. A lot of you guys were on the live stream when Walt came out and I didn't get it on the drop and I had to make some moves to get 1. And then I made another move and I got a second like this. And I got Walt for 2.9K and then 3.6K. And then I woke up and it was 10K, right? So this felt exactly like that for me. So for me, I was able to get the comic book AF15 on the drop. Got 2 minutes left to the drop. If anyone's going for it, I don't want to ruin the drop for you. So I will stop with like 30 seconds left. But I got the AF15 common on the drop, high number, right? And I was like, oh, I need a 3-digit mint. I was refreshing. Couldn't buy one. Couldn't get one. Finally, and I think I had maybe like 400 gems after I bought the comic on the drop. So finally, refreshing. It took me 40 minutes to lock one in. I saw nothing coming out like under 500 gems. So I added in maybe like another 300 or 400 gems. I had like 800 gems total, right, to work with. Kept refreshing. Trying to buy one. Couldn't buy one. Couldn't lock one in. Said reserve was taken. I was like, no, I'm not missing out. I don't care how long it takes. I'm locking one in. Finally, 45 minutes later after the drop, refresh, bought one, a 656 mint for 750 gems. I was like, oh my gosh. The floor of a common was probably like 300. So I paid like triple the floor, double the floor, but I knew I had to lock this one in. So I locked in a 656 mint common, and then I had another common. Well, eventually I sold that common, the one I got on the drop, for a rare at 550 gems. So I bought the rare at 550 gems. I felt like that was a steal. I got a low mint too. We got 55 seconds to drop. Make sure you guys don't forget about the drop. I don't think you're going to have to time this one perfect. So again, if you guys are unfamiliar with where the drop comes, go to the store tab at the very bottom. Click on the Marvel Legacy. Scroll down. the buy now button is going to pop up right after the timer runs out, right where the timer is. So on big time drops, I try to time it. We know the buy now pops up 1 second after 0. But for this one, I think you can kind of just react to it. You know, as soon as you see buy now pop up, you can probably click and get it if you want to go for it. And right after this, I'm going to get some comments and finish the story and then turn on the Kobe Collects video. 15 seconds left, fam. Who's going for it? Right in the chat. Who's going for the drop today? Who's skipping it? We going Skipgate? I'm passing on this one today, guys. I only have like 100 gems right now. Wow, it's lagging too. Yeah. Bye now. I am going to click on it in a couple seconds just to see if it sells out. Nope, didn't sell out. You can still get it. All right, so AF15. Got the comment on the drop. Flipped it. Or I didn't even flip it yet. I bought a common 3-digit 656 mint for 750 gems. The floor of the Amazing Fantasy right now is 680 gems. So I paid what, like 40 gems above the floor right now for a 3-digit 656 mint. Huge. So got the rare for 550. So at that point, I had a rare, like 1,000 mint, 1123, kind of sequential. Love the mint. I had the rare and the 3-digit common. I was pretty happy with that, pretty set. You know, there's only 1,000 editions of the rare. But I was like, you know what? The ultra rare of arguably the biggest comic book in the world has the same edition count as the MC1 secret rare. Even fewer editions of them, actually. So I was like, oh my God. If I flip this rare, I think I'm going to be able to get that one. So, like I said, I had the rare and the 3-digit common at this point. And I was like, how can I get another 2K? Because I don't want to, you know, flip the rare and then have that one run up on me and then be stuck. So I was like, I got to do this fast. And I got to do it, you know, I got to do it fast and in a timely manner. Because if I don't, you know, I just sold the rare for nothing, essentially. So I was like, you know what? This is when I was going through my entire collection. How can I get about 2K right now? And I would have been giving up way too many duplicates. So I was like, you know what? I had 3 tides for a reason. I'm going to let go of one of my tides right now. Tides are going to shoot up, in my opinion. It's going to be over 2K in no time. So I'm actually trying to double back and grab that tide again. But it's not – I have 2 of them, so I feel pretty solid right now. And there are 2 originally owned. I think originally owned tides and other big-time collectibles like the Wall, the Spider-Man. I don't have an original owned Wall. I have an OG owned Spider-Man, though. But those original owners, I think it's going to be crucial years down the road. Once that's a little bit more visible, you can see the previous ownership. That's going to be huge, in my opinion. So maybe I even get more than what floor is by then. There are 2 1,000 mints, but sold the time, had 2K gems. Then I that's when I let go of the rare, and I had the 3K gems. And at that point, I was like, you know what? This ultra rare could dip to like 2.5, maybe 2. I don't see it going lower than 2K. People are scooping that up if it goes lower than 2K. So I said, you know what? I'm not selling this tide for nothing and having it go up to 3.5 or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I might overpay a couple hundred, but because I just let go of one of my prized possessions, I'm not letting that go for nothing. So I locked in the ultra rare. And wow, I am so happy I did that. I believe in that comic book so much. I believe in Todd so much too, but I got 2 of those. So I feel really, really happy about my decision. Another gut call, crucial. Kobe continues to step his game up and deliver on content. Absolutely, yeah. Kobe hits on the Master Collector program, huge. And he just gave his insight, and I think he nailed the insight. So I think it's important for maybe people who are questioning, what can the MCP do for me? Questioning, is the MCP going to be important? Is it going to be a flop? Think of how much time they're taking on the MCP and the fact that this is a collector's app built by collectors. So I think the rewards of, you know, Master Collector is going to be pretty, pretty big. Absolutely. Not a dumb question. Let me see. NFTs, dumb question. But if you gain MCP on a certain collectible and decide to sell it. So, no, yeah, absolutely. Not a dumb question at all. Great question, actually. So all the points are retroactive, which is amazing. So say you had, you know, a full set of the secret rare Disney posters, right? A lot of MCP points. Maybe you had for a month, right? And then you decided, you know what? I don't want this set anymore. Let me get rid of it. Let me swap for something else. Once the MCP comes live and the program's out, you're going to be rewarded for having that set completed and holding for however many days you held, and you're going to be getting those points every day for that. So all those points are retroactive. So for example, I could sell my entire collection today. I'm not, but I could, and I'm going to be retroactively rewarded for all those points that I had up until that time. So with the 1-of-1, if it's in your possession and not listed in the market, will it reflect in your vault value when you value what you paid, or zero? Great question, Getsy. So if you don't list it, I don't think it would, I don't think it would reflect in your value. You could list it for maybe 10 million, and if the 10 million is the floor, which it would be, because you're the only one, your vault value would be 10 million. So I'm pretty sure it's the vault value, the AI, whatever program they use, it's built on the floor prices. That's why it always goes up and down. Like if someone cut the floor of the Secret or Spidey to 5K, any of those holders' values, it would drop down. So yeah, not a dumb question at all. Absolutely. Okay, collections. How we doing, Kay? Kobe's definitely amazing. Utility. Shout out to Miss Rose in the building. Yeah, absolutely. Real talk. Great question here. Can you explain the relationship between VeVe and Immutable X? When I check IMX, I don't see VeVe items in the inventory for sale. So this has been something that's been going on in the community for a little bit now. People have been wondering what's going on with IMX. Why is it not interoperable? So I think it's just because it's a matter of time. It takes a long time to transfer all the data, metadata, get everything situated, because VeVe NFTs, think of how many NFTs VeVe has on their entire platform compared to like another project, right? Hundreds of thousands of, maybe millions of collectibles, right? Eventually. So I think it's just a matter of time why it's taking so long. Eventually, we will be able to send a lot of these artist collectibles over to your IMX wallet and use that marketplace to interact with. And when that happens, I think those artist collectibles will start to shine a little bit. And not every collectible will be interoperable. They've always talked about how the bigger brands will be a little bit later, and some of them may not do it. But they do believe that eventually, over time, they all will allow the interoperability. It just comes down to a lot of these licensors. And I think it's bullish that we have seen a lot of these other licensors make NFT projects that are interoperable. So just a matter of time. Ronnie Light. Oh, let's dive into Kobe's video, huh? Stop sleeping on the palace. Absolutely. Yeah, guys. Another YouTube, I would say, crew. That's amazing content creators on YouTube. Always doing like late night live streams, always got some good content. So I think it's a great group of people came together called The Palace. Check them out on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, facts. I've been trying to drink a lot more water, especially after being sick. Will Todd flip Rizzo? We don't really know. I think long term, definitely a possibility. In the short term, there's a lot of people who hold multiple Todds, though. I would say there's not as many that hold multiple Rizzos. So when big pieces come up, people tend to floor a Todd if they have a ton of them. But I think maybe when we're talking 5 years out the way, 5 years down the road, have the first VeVe NFT, the FA Batman, the first ever DC collectible. I think it's a pretty big deal. How do you get the different variant cover? I was only able to get the common, wouldn't let me get anything else. Xavier. Interesting. Do you mean on the drop or in the marketplace, brother? Because basically all you have to do is, let me see here, go down to the market. Once you're in the market tab, you can go by brands and then search for collectibles, or you can search for comics. Go to comics and then scroll down to whichever one you want. Let's check out the prices here. Let's go to the one that just dropped. If you want the common, go into the common tab. See what they're going for. They're going for $2 right now. And then you can hit the back button if you can find it there. Say you want the ultra rare, right? Boom. You just scroll down, click on the one that says ultra rare, and then lock one in. Now, sometimes what will happen is if you click on one and you go to hit buy now, it may say order reserved, because right now, if you hit buy now, you have like a 2-minute long window, maybe a minute long, to where no one else can reserve it. So that's probably happening to a lot of people. That's why for me, it was impossible to lock in a common 3-digit on the AF15. So many people are trying to reserve, but eventually you will get through with one. One thing I like to do is, if you do go, say, for a common, right? It's a big time drop, whatever the case is, and you can't lock one in at the floor, keep saying reserve. This is what I did to get my Homer and Bart. When the Disney Collectibles first dropped, they're going for like $60. I was trying to buy one for 60, 70, 80. I couldn't. So I was like, you know what? I'm not missing out on this. So I scrolled all the way down, and then I was trying to click on random ones. So the further you scroll down, the more likely you have to buy one, get one in. But the downside with that is you're going to be overpaying a little bit. So you have to be, heart set on believing in that collectible. You either really, really want it, or you believe that it could be, pretty valuable. So you're okay to overpay a little bit. I paid $200 for my 3-digit mint Homer and Bart. I paid $200 for it when the floor was $70, right? People are like, Johnny, what did you just do? I was like, I'm locking one in. This is the first ever Disney collectible. This is FA Homer and Bart. $200, and it ended up being a 3-digit mint. So I feel like if you believe in something, a comic collectible, in my opinion, it's okay to overpay a little bit just to lock one in. So that's my take on it. Hope that helped. Yeah, I hope that helps out, brother Xavier. If that's your question, let me know if you have a different question. Ooh, that's a great one. AF15 rare 3-digit. To get a Todd. See, that's one where I wouldn't mind. I would probably flip a rare for either a Todd or the ultra rare, in my opinion. I love the rare cover. 3-digit mint will be great too. One of the, arguably the top comic book in the world. That was my decision right there. I was like, do I flip a rare and, stack a 4th Todd? Or for me, it's because I already had 3 of them. I feel like that's the power of multiples. Duplicates, you can kind of let one go to build that collection into something you really, really want. And for me, that's like my holy grail comic book, So either move, I don't think it's a bad idea. For me, I would probably, if it was me, I would sell that rare for the ultra rare or another Todd. I don't think that's a bad play at all. 2.9K wall. Yeah, Daniel, do you remember what that happened? Woo! I sold so many duplicates. I had like 6 or 7 FA Jokers, 6 or 7 Harley Quinns. I had 30 FA Captain Americas. I had 10 FA Spider-Man, first ever Marvel NFT. I had a huge duplicate bag. And you will get attached to those duplicates. But again, you have to remind yourself, you got those duplicates for a reason, right? You got those duplicates to flip, to build that collection, or to profit on, whatever the case is, right? So yeah, that's probably a smart move right there, Freddie Cox. Just uncommon for Kobe. Shout out to Kobe for going for the drop. Let's tune into his video today. Vivian 3. Shout out to Vivian 3. Shout out to Giant Size Comics. Again, make sure you guys subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's only got 430 subscribers. It's going to grow like crazy, though. He'll be at over 1,000 in no time. Just join the VeVe community. Shout out to Dan Shawbell for, teaching him a little behind-the-scenes action. VeVe has revolutionized collecting. Where will we be in 12 months? Woo! 12 months from now, Kobe. I see VeVe putting the first step in the door of taking over the world. 12 months from now, it's just going to gain that much more recognition. Think of the sports athletes, right? We had Justin Turner, LA Dodgers baseball player, for Star Wars Day, take a picture of his R2-D2 on the baseball field. People had no idea, because he didn't tweet out VeVe, he didn't post anything about say VeVe's name. He did it low key. This is what the picture is. A lot of you guys saw it. Maybe some of you guys didn't. Huge, right? This is big time. This is an LA Dodgers player. Could we see a Justin Turner collectible on VeVe one day? Huge. Sports are coming. I could definitely see them doing baseball players, football players, basketball players, and AR. He said, may the 4th be with you with a VeVe NFT. This is huge, guys. They're not marketing VeVe just yet. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, in my opinion. Now, I show this to a lot of my friends that I grew up with that, made fun of me for VeVe. So check this out. You know what they replied with? This is how early it is, guys. They replied with, now Johnny's photoshopping his VeVe NFT pictures into MLB players' pictures. I was like, what? I was like, my hometown buddy has literally thought I photoshopped a VeVe NFT into his picture. I was like, you guys are in such denial right now. It's unbelievable. That's how early we are. I was like, go on his Instagram. You can go into Justin Turner's Instagram, Facebook, and pull up that picture and you'll see. I'm not photoshopping anything. But I think it just DB, let me know how it goes. Hopefully your app works for you. I didn't see that you had issues with it. Yeah, I think it's just the very, very beginning, guys. All right, let's do it. Let's dive into his video.
Hey guys, welcome back to another VeVe update video. And today I have a specific topic about where VeVe will be in 12 months. A couple thoughts that I have on that. But before I get into that, today is one day after the 33-hour live stream by Mr. Randy Chavez.
Shout out to Randy, man.
Big shout out to VeVe Fam Bam. Big shout out to every single
VeVe Fam Bam held it down.
Stopped in to help get the content rolling, as well as everybody in the chat. What I loved about that was seeing the full power of the community.
Community is powerful, man.
Kind of felt like a holiday, and we were all there celebrating. And that's the kind of stuff that VeVe has been doing a really good job at, in terms of bringing people together, creating communities, and bringing different collectors under one roof. I've been talking about that for a little while, and I think
Nails it, because this is the thing, right? You're getting people all around the world who are joining together, coming together, bonding, having fun over the same fandoms. Like maybe like Kobe, you know, he just picked up the House of Cards set, right? I got the House of Cards. He actually picked up one of mine. I was gonna let them all go, but I was like, you know what? I was trying to do it for the AF-15. You know, we talked a little bit about that, and I think it's just the beginning when people all around the world who are into Superman, who are into Batman together. You guys are both master collectors of Batman from different countries, Star Wars, Disney. You know, these big IPs, the fandom, it brings everybody together. You know, maybe you're a fan, not of the IP, but of the artist, Ron English. It's all under one app. So it's huge to have these indie artists next to these big IPs.
extremely underrated. When I was collecting Pokemon, Pokemon people. When I was collecting jerseys, you're nobody. There isn't a jersey collecting club or anything like that. My shoes, I know some shoe collectors, but with VeVe, if I collect comics in the VeVe app and I go into the VeVe feed, I'm going to meet Thor collectors. I'm going to meet Marvel collectors. Right? I'm going to meet Disney collectors. I'm going to meet Tokidoki collectors. I'm going to meet fine art collectors. I'm going to meet Rewind collective collectors. I'm going to meet a lot of different people under one roof. And that's by design, right? VeVe is getting all these licensors, all these different hobbies, and the traditional comic book collector that's in the VeVe app that might have joined for comics might not really like Murmur Cornrows. They might really like so many other different things that VeVe has, right? But my main point there is that we're being exposed to other hobbies under the same roof, right? So, VeVe's doing a phenomenal job in creating those types of communities and bringing people together. And big shout out to Randy, big shout out to David, you for stepping in once again.
I think he hopped in, hopped in this chat.
Leading by example and inspiring us all at the same time. So, big shout out to the whole community for that. And now, guys, where do I see the VeVe app in 12 months? There's going to be a lot of improvements, first of all. The way I look at it is VeVe is a 1-year-old, 2-year-old that is just a very smart 2-year-old. And this 2-year-old is talking already, walking early and stuff, but it's still got a lot of years to grow, right? So, might even, this is a special baby, but it's still a baby, right? So in 12 months, one of the things that I see, one of the things that I see that are going to be here is MCP, Master Collector Program. And I don't think people really grasp how big that's going to be in the VeVe app. And they're
taking their time on this one, right? They could have released it. They've been holding this for years now because they want to perfect it. This is a collector's app built by collectors for collectors. So the Master Collector program, I think, and Kobe thinks is going to be a big deal.
A few points I want to make on that to kind of maybe start a conversation and see what you guys think about that. But yeah, so 12 months, I think Master Collector program will be in the app. If you guys are unfamiliar with Master Collector program, it's VeVe. It's VeVe's way of revolutionizing collecting, especially in the VeVe app, right? Through rewarding you for collecting. So each collectible that you have, each collectible that you buy, gets you points, right? Your points will rank you up global leaderboards. They might rank you up collectible leaderboards, right? You might be number one in the Tokidoki community on the VeVe app. You might be the number one Tokidoki collector, and you might be 77th on the VeVe app.
This brings me to a good point too. I think Chad, NFT Pirates, he's always made videos too about, you know, are people are going to hyper focus on certain characters like Spider-Man? Are you going to be the Spider-Man Master Collector and have every Spider-Man collectible out there? Batman, Golden Moments, Disney. So I think that's huge. I think that people will start to kind of hyper focus on certain aspects. And for me, you know, since I was here earlier, I was able to capitalize off that. For me, it's Batman. Like, I'm trying to get every Batman collectible. That's always been mine. And because I have the wallets, I feel like I'm in position to be able to get all the Disney Golden Moments now. And so those are two big ones for me. But again, it could be bigger than that. Marvel, he talks about in here. All DC collectibles.
To maybe collect some Marvel, maybe collect some other things to become number one. Maybe the number one VeVe collector won't matter as much, or maybe it will, right? Maybe it will. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the actual rankings and how important that is to a lot of people and how fandoms become a part of people's identities.
So true.
With Disney fans, with Tokidoki fans, with Pokemon fans, with Marvel fans. Like, you see people where you go into their house and you can clearly tell they're a Batman fan. You walk into their house, you can tell they like Pokemon, right? It becomes part of their identity. It might be their username. It might be their profile picture. It might be the clothes that they wear. It might be the design of...
Once we can get these NFTs as our verified profile picture, how many people do you think that are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook would want to have the first appearance of Batman as their profile picture and it's verified? The first appearance of Superman, Spider-Man, Disney, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. List goes on, right? So in my opinion, crushed it right there. I think that's huge. It is a part of your digital identity.
The room. So when you're in the VeVe app when you're in the VeVe app and you're a Tokidoki collector, everybody can see your ranking when MCP comes out. So they'll know how big of a Tokidoki collector you are in the app. And we don't have that traditionally. So nobody really knows how many Pokemon cards I have, how many of them are... Sorry, phone died. So, nobody knows how many Pokemon cards I have, how many are real, right? There's no way for Pokemon to verify their holders. They don't know, unless you obviously know them on a personal level. There's no way to verify who's holding, the first edition Charizards in the world. We might know that there's like 200 or something like that. We don't know all 200 owners. And we don't know if those exist anymore, right? Just because you graded it in 1999, just because you graded it in 2005, doesn't mean that slab didn't burn in a house fire, get destroyed.
Drop off a shelf.
Broken out of the slab or whatever it may be. So even though the population is there, the number is inaccurate because we don't actually have any of those extra variables. With NFTs, you have exactly that. So if you know that there's 4,333 wallets out there, and you know that 100 people burned them, you know what I mean? You have that exact stat. You have that exact data on the blockchain that can't be replicated. So if I have an old picture of a wall and me holding it or me doing whatever, I can't reuse that picture to be like, yo, I still have my wall. They can check that. They can check that with the metadata. So what the VeVe app will do is truly reward collectors and verify that they're actually rewarding the collectors as well. And what can that do? right? Maybe that can grant you access. Maybe if you're a top 10 Tokidoki fan, you're top 10 in the rankings, the Tokidoki rankings in the VeVe app, you now have access to this limited edition Murmucorno that's coming out in 2024 that an allocation of 10 has been put aside for the top 10 VeVe collectors. An allocation of 10 might be for this different event or whatever it might be, right? Maybe it's an in-person event that you get 50% off as long as you're in the top 5%. If you're going to a Tokidoki event, they want to reward the top 5 collectors in the VeVe app. And they're going to reward you by, as long as you're in that top 5, you have that access to that 33% savings gate, which is linked to your ranking, which is backed up by metadata, backed up by the blockchain. I can't replicate it. You can't replicate it. And we can't cheat the system. So,
digital proof of ownership.
Rewarding for collecting through the VeVe app is going to change the entire game and change the entire landscape. But the one thing that might be worth more than the rewards to a lot of people, because of that identity that we talked about earlier, is just truly the ranking. Just being up there.
It's going to get competitive.
That might be ranked 10, that they wake up and they'll be ranked 11, and that'll upset them. And they'll also get the same type of serotonin push, dopamine push when they go up a rank, when they go up 2 ranks. That might mean a lot to them. There's people that spend tens of thousands of dollars on paintball equipment to go to their local paintball arena just to get their name up on that, their team name or whatever, up on the rankings. There's people that chill at laser tag. Shout out Barney, you know what I mean? all day to get their name on that leaderboard. There's people that grind different games, even games like, let's say, RuneScape, right?
I had a buddy I grew up with. Shout out to my guy Jeff Wood. Amazing Madden player, right? I think it was Madden on the Xbox. He got to second in the world, I believe. Second in the world. You know, he went on and played against other people in the world. Got to the point where he won a tournament and he beat the people so bad they accused him of cheating. And he was just so done with all the politics involved and everything. And but you know, that's a huge part, right? To have that rank. And as VeVe continues to be that household name, if you think VeVe is going to be, you know, the number 1 collecting platform in the world, imagine being a top ranked person on that. That's why I always said it could come with sponsorship deals Kobe talks about in here. That's always been kind of my mindset. So I love this video because he touches on it, I think, very soon.
RuneScape is a game that everything might be NFTs one day, right? But things still sell off the app, off the game, on eBay. People have made entire businesses where they just sell in-game RuneScape stuff off the app, right? But the ranking system there is huge, and it means a lot to a lot of people that play it, which are hundreds of thousands of people, right? When I was a kid, I knew the guy on the top, you know what I mean? So it was like, he was like an in-game celebrity. It was like, it was a big deal. It was a big deal, and I bet it was a big deal to him, right? I bet, and it was a big deal to the kids playing the game at the time too. Like if he showed up in a server, thousands of people are following him because we're like, oh, you're cool, you know what I mean? You're number 1.
Imagine the VeVe-verse. Once it's all kind of laid out, the iterations are developed upon each other. It's not going to be a whole metaverse right away. You know, we're probably just going to have like another layer to our showroom type thing at the first iteration. But just imagine a couple years from now when we're all inside the VeVe-verse, moving around different places. Imagine you see an OG master collector pop in. That's going to be a huge deal, right?
One. Does that come with sponsorship opportunities? It probably will. It probably will. If you're recognized as the number 1 Marvel, like right now, if MCP was out and you were the number 1 Marvel collector in the app, everyone in VeVe would know it, but we're still such a small ecosystem that it wouldn't really, maybe it doesn't come with sponsorships yet. Maybe it does, right? But I'm also thinking long-term as well. But the way I look at it with VeVe Master Collector Program, VeVe's Master Collector Program is going to change the entire landscape. There's going to be people that collect truly to be there. It's part of their identity. It's what they want. There's going to be people there that collect for the points, get ranks and rewards for it, and they're just shooting for that. There's going to be people that see the really investable rewards, the ones that if I spend this much on this many collectibles to guarantee myself this ranking and unlock this collectible that comes out on September 19th that I have to be ranked 50 plus to get, but I know it's going to go for this much. All right, now it's worth it, right? So there's going to be that set to people too. There's going to be people that are the number 5 DC collector in the world on the VeVe app, and they were never a Marvel fan before. But now it's affecting their VeVe ranking, and VeVe means a lot to them now too. VeVe brought them into an ecosystem with all these different great people, and now they're a DC and Marvel fan. You know what I mean? Now they're a fine art collector. Now they got some comic books. Now they got some Scott Tolson. Now they got some Allison Bamcat, right? So I didn't know those names, right? I didn't know about the bird cat. I had no clue the bird cat existed before 2 weeks ago, but now I'm a bird cat owner, right? So this is what I mean about fandoms being created, and the level of MCP is going to be insane. So is the number 1 Allison Bamcat fan, did they just get, is that a new fandom? Were they just basically born 2 weeks ago into the Allison Bamcat fandom? Well, Dr. Profit. So let's just Dr. Profit, for anybody that might be listening and you're like, what are you talking about? He is one of the big whales that we see in the app that gets talked about quite a bit, right? If rankings came out tomorrow, do we expect Dr. Profit to be number 1 in the app? What if he wasn't? It's a big deal to some people, right? Will he jump? Will he make sure he's number 1? Dr. Profit probably will. But is there 1,000 hidden Dr. Profits in the app already that are just waiting? Does that mean a lot to them? I'm just trying to strike conversations up, guys, but it really excites me just thinking about everything. Yeah, there's a lot to go over, but I think I might cut this video right now and try to organize some thoughts with the comments and come back and revisit this video and revisit this topic. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think?
Great video, man. I can't wait to hear another one when you come back to it. Kobe Collects, go give him a like, subscribe to the channel. Brought a lot of good insight right there. Let me know what you're thinking, guys. Do you think he crushed that? Do you think he's wrong about some aspects? I think he absolutely crushed it. A lot of it. It's pretty much, echoing, a lot of the same stuff I've been saying. And I think he, just breaks it down in such a simple way to where maybe someone who's looking at it saying, was against the MCP for a while, right? Maybe they start stacking a little bit before it actually comes out. Because what I think is going to happen is as soon as they really announce the MCP, I think people are going to go try and stack. And not saying it's too late then, but it's like the people that have stacked and have been holding, because you get daily recurring of points. So I think the longer you hold, the better you off in the MCP. Xavier said for the drop. So the drops are completely random, my man. If it's a blind box, like most of the comic books, I think have all been blind boxes, meaning when you go for that drop, I think it's still available right now. So if you go for the drop and you click buy now, you have no idea what you're getting. It could be a common. It could be a variant cover, ultra rare, secret rare. You have no idea. Complete random luck. Now, on some of the collectibles that drop, I believe secret rare Spider-Man was one. I'm not sure what the recent drops were. Most of the time, they have blind boxes too for collectibles, but sometimes they'll go over that OG drop. OG drops where you got to pick and choose which rarity you wanted to go for. So, for example, that SR Spidey that got dropped, there's only 1,000 editions. I was crushing the drops back then still. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for the secret rare. I went for the secret rare and I got it. Now, the people that went for the ultra rare, they might have gotten it, but they got that rarity. So it all depends if it's a blind box or not. Freddie Cox, let me know if you end up going with that. I think it's a solid move right there. Shout out Kobe. Good night, DB. Appreciate you for tuning in today. Drew NFT V dubs only. What dubs you get today? Did you get a comic book today, Drew? I'm going to go over the prices of this comic. I don't think this comic's going to do crazy today. Commons going for under $2. I'm surprised. Surprised, but not surprised. Now, again, not this. I think there will be like thousands and thousands of comics, but something as low as this only has to get to $4 for you to double up. Could be an opportunity, could not be. It's not a highly in demand comic. The uncommons going for $2.30. The rares are going for $7 retail. Now, I think the rares will gain value just because it's an easy 2 points. The ultra rares are 18. It's an easy 3 points, and the secret rares are 61. I don't know too many secret rares that are less than that. And I think it's one of those things where the secret rares, the ultra rares, and the rares I think will pump as soon as that MCP comes out. But like Kobe said, I think, in my opinion too, I think that would be a good opportunity to maybe let some things go into the hype. I think the people that are holding onto the stuff now will be probably rewarded once they do announce it, because that's when I think people are going to flock to the market, buy those comics. They give you good MCP points. Thanks for the breakdown, bro. I appreciate you. Absolutely, bro. If I didn't tweet out that video, I'm definitely going to retweet you, brother. Amazing video, man. Simple to the point. I think most people, people need that. Because you got to think, too, we all kind of know about the MCP, so it may sound like repetitive, but I think for a lot of people, they may not have heard or really got into the MCP, so I think it's important, I just favored it. I didn't retweet it. I'm going to retweet it right now. Any rare under $10 great for MCP? I agree, Freddie Cox. I had a lot of rares for, I got them really cheap. I did just let go of some of my rares, like the comic book arc, the Death of Captain America. I just got rid of some of those rares, but I've also had them for a little while now too. And because I made some swaps into what I think are more valuable comics, I was okay to let go of some of those MCP points, but I agree. That's what I think it's going to pump. Those ultra rare, secret rare, and rare comics are going to pump, in my opinion, once we get that announcement. But I've always been a fan, of kind of having both. I didn't want to have my collection completely of just MCP points, just because I don't have unlimited money. So it's always been a combination of getting the stuff that I value big time and that I love, but also have those MCP points. Like one great example are the secret rare Disney posters. Everyone's a secret rare, and for me, that's part of history right there. So I wanted to make sure I have those in my collection. That's why I did originally get a lot of those cheap comics, but I think it's going to be interesting. And I know Chad's talked about this too from NFT Pirates. When he talked about Pokemon cards and collecting, if he had focused all his efforts on the Charizards, instead of maybe a bunch of them, would have been better off. So I think that leads people to think maybe hyper focusing on some of these collectibles could be a better ROI long term. Not financial advice, of course. And also he says all the time too. He said in the past, where like in Pokemon, you don't, and I'm sure Kobe, you're a Pokemon fan too, so you know this. You don't get rewarded. You don't get $1 for those random Pokemon cards in a deck. You don't get points that you could imagine. Pokemon cards, if you open up a pack, say just 9 out of 10 cards. I'm not even sure if 10 cards come in a pack. Just an example. You get one prize card, and then the other 9 you may just try to get some money back, right? I know Chad's talked about that. To where, what if you could return those cards that you don't love for a couple points, and then you could use those points to get a chance at a prize card? And that's kind of that philosophy with the whole MCP program is, right? You get rewards for those collecting, all this stuff. The other thing that's great about the MCP program is that they're all retroactive points. Someone had a question about that earlier in the chat, meaning like if you sell your collectible, do you get those points get taken away? So you just won't get those points anymore. But say if you had a secret rare for 2 months and then you let it go, once the MCP program is live, you're going to get rewarded in those points for having the secret rare for the 2 months. So anytime you get a new set, you get 100 new points. So that is big, completing new sets, 100 points right off the bat, boom, instantly. And then you get those daily recurring points for every day you hold. No rewards, no verification, 9 out of 10 packs. You lose $4.90 out of $5. Right, exactly. Imagine if you could, go back to the store that you bought them from, give back those 9 cards that you don't love, and you get like points or some kind of system to where if you get X amount of packs and you get X amount of points, you could cash those points in and you get a chance to get a prize possession card. That would be huge. So, absolutely. And I think you touched on this too, Kobe. The reasoning why people may be selling comics for under retail right away, because it's like opening up a pack, a blind box, a pack of cards. So you're only paying $7 for the comic. hoping to get that secret rare, ultra rare, and if you don't, you just flip it, common, get like $2-3 back. That's what. I think that's why people are selling under retail. I'm not saying that's a good strategy, but it happens. So absolutely, the thrill of the hunt. Absolutely. And I think it's gonna be wild to see how VeVe kind of expands and just grows over time too. Wow, that's insane. And I think if we do get that P word and that Pika does come, it'll probably be a common, I'm thinking, because to me, it's like the MC1 common. It's going to come out. People are going to be like, there's 30,000 Pikachus. It's not worth it. People are going to toss them, and the smart money's going to pick them all up. People who have like 50, hundreds of peaches are going to be, in my opinion, in great shape if that happens. That's just the way I see it. Maybe I'm completely wrong and it ends up being like an ultra rare, but because you have no idea if it's coming and what it would be, but it just kind of, I would say I'm an outsider just because I'm not like 100%, biggest hardcore fan. And I feel like that fandom is pretty hardcore. I'd be doing a disservice to the fans. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking, Kobe. I don't think people realize what that IP really the value is. Like people hear it, but like if they did something like that and did like 50,000, 100,000 Pikachus, people would be like, what are they doing? Toss them away for $5. That's going to be another huge opportunity, in my opinion. Now, it's all speculation, of course. We don't know if the P word is coming or not, but it's always fun to kind of game plan and think about if that was to happen, how would people react, right? That's a stacking time right there for me, in my opinion. Appreciate you guys big time for hopping on the stream today. I will be opening up the Discord too publicly in the next day or two because end of the month, I'm going to be doing that fantasy football fantasy draft. And I think there's, just a lot of people that want to kind of, not a lot, but because I am going to be in a couple different fantasy leagues already. So just for people who tune in the streams, part of the, the alien crew, I am going to be opening up the Discord. It's been private for a while just because I opened it up when the drops were happening. And I felt like maybe people that were from the bots or the bots were coming in trying to gauge a sentiment if they should go for the drop or not. So it was kind of like, maybe I shouldn't open this up publicly just yet. But next day or so, I'm going to open it up publicly so we can get some emails going for anyone who wants to be part of the fantasy football league. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So finally feeling better too. Jesus, it's been about 2 weeks now. So still don't feel 100%, but I feel a lot better than before. So that's good news. Appreciate you guys big time for tuning in today. Shout out to Randy for having that huge stream. Everybody on Kobe talked about. I wish I was a part of it, but I just wasn't feeling good at all. So I just wanted to hop in the live stream chat, comment support. But I'm definitely going to be hopping on with Randy, in the future. The first one, just say the one and only day my internet went out. So I'm going to have to definitely run it back. But appreciate y'all big time for tuning in today. Some quality videos from people today to where I think if you rewatch this, may be able to pick up a couple gems or two. So leave a comment down below once this gets uploaded. What are your guys' thoughts on the MCP Master Collector program? Are you stacking stuff now? Are you not really focused on the MCP? Like, I want to hear some opinions from everyone. I want to gauge, the thoughts. So let me know in the comments down below. Appreciate you guys big time. I'm signing out today. It's your boy, Johnny Dunn. We out, fam.